Hello folks, this is Sam and you are watching Sam's Wisdom. There are moments in life that don't announce themselves. They don't come with fireworks or grand entrances. They just slip in quietly and change you without asking for permission. This one started with a folding chair and a lukewarm cup of coffee. I was at a small community event. Not much more than a circle of chairs, a few handouts, and some gentle talk about aging, purpose, and life after 70. To be honest, I wasn't expecting much. I've heard most of it before. You sit politely, nod at the right places, maybe take a biscuit on your way out. But that afternoon, something different happened. She walked in slowly, small frame, soft steps, wore white from head to toe, like the kind of quiet you'd find in a temple. They said her name was May. She was 101 years old, a practicing Buddhist. She didn't speak at first. She just smiled, like she knew a secret the rest of us had forgotten. I watched her for a while. She didn't fidget. She didn't check her phone, obviously. She just sat, completely still. Like the whole world had already taught her everything it had to say, and now she was simply resting in it. I don't know what it was, but something in me wanted to lean closer, to listen, before she even opened her mouth. And when someone finally asked her to share something, just one piece of wisdom from her long life, she waited, didn't rush, didn't smile for the room. She just said, "We spend our lives chasing control, over people, over outcomes, over time, and all it ever brings us is suffering." Then she closed her eyes and added, "Peace isn't something you find. It's what's left when you stop trying to manage everything." Now, I've heard a lot of talk about peace. Heard it in books and sermons and self-help speeches. But this didn't feel like advice, it felt like permission. After the session, a small group of us stayed behind, sipping tea in silence. It was one of those quiet moments where no one wanted to break the stillness, but you could tell we all wanted to hear more. So I asked her gently, "Do you really think letting go is enough? Doesn't the pain stick around anyway?" She looked at me, not like I'd said something foolish, but like I'd said something very human. And she said, "Pain is natural, but suffering is the echo we feed. What you carry inside, you become. Thoughts are not just thoughts, they're seeds. And if you plant bitterness, bitterness grows." I just sat there, let it sink in. Then she said something I'll never forget. Energy is invisible, but it leaves fingerprints. The way someone speaks to you, the way a room feels when someone angry walks in. You can't see it, but you can feel it in your bones. She went on. If you sit in anger long enough, your body forgets how to rest. You tense up, your heart beats harder, your stomach tightens. That energy lives in your cells. You start aging from the inside out. But when you release it, really release it, your body responds. Your breath softens. Your shoulders fall. Your heart remembers its rhythm. Peace isn't just a thought. It's a state your whole body recognizes. Now, I've heard folks talk about positive thinking before, but this wasn't fluff. This was a woman who had lived through war, loss, betrayal, and still spoke like a stream running through a forest, calm, unshaken, flowing around the stones. She said, "The most dangerous thing in the world isn't hate. It's carrying hate inside you. You don't have to forgive the act, but you can release the energy for your own health, for your own spirit." And then she placed her hand over her heart and whispered, What I carry here decides what kind of world I live in. Not them, not the past, just this. I couldn't respond right away, because the truth is I'd been holding on to things, old arguments, silent disappointments, guilt I didn't know what to do with. And here she was, telling me it was okay to let it go, not to forget it, not to excuse it, but to stop giving it my life force. When you let it pass through you, she said, you become lighter, stronger, and suddenly, you're not reacting to life, you're creating it. That day, I didn't leave with advice. I left with a feeling, like I'd just been shown how to put down a heavy bag I didn't even realize I'd been dragging around, and I've been walking a little lighter ever since. Before I left that day, someone in the group asked May a question that made the whole room lean in. They said, "Aren't you ever lonely, living alone at your age?" She smiled, like she'd been waiting for that one, and she said in that gentle, clear way of hers, "Aloneness and loneliness are not the same. Loneliness is when you're disconnected from yourself. Aloneness is when you're finally with yourself." The room went still. She continued, "You can be in a room full of people and still feel lonely. And you can be alone on a mountaintop and feel completely at peace. The difference is not around you, it's inside you." She said that when she was younger, she used to chase people, chase conversations, invitations, approval. But as she got older, she realized most of it was noise that pulled her away from herself. "The more I sat with the trees," she said, "the more I learned to be quiet inside. The birds don't judge. The wind doesn't expect anything. The river doesn't care what kind of day you're having. It just flows. And when you spend time with nature, you remember what peace feels like." Then she added something that made half the room laugh and the other half pause. "Most of the drama in life comes from humans trying to control other humans. Step away from that, and the silence becomes a gift." And I'll tell you something. That moment shifted something in me, because we've all felt it. That deep, quiet ache, sometimes when we're in a crowd, sometimes right in the middle of a family dinner, and sometimes at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling, wondering why the world feels far away. But maybe we're not meant to fill every silence with company. Maybe we're meant to learn how to sit with it, without fear, without distraction, and let it soften us, not harden us. May called it coming home to yourself. Now I take walks without my phone. I sit in the backyard and listen to birds argue about breadcrumbs. And when I feel a little ache of loneliness sneak in, I say, "You're just passing through. I've got space, but you can't stay too long." And if that doesn't work, I put on a pot of tea and talk to my plants. They never interrupt me, and they don't judge my dance moves. So, if you've been feeling lonely lately, try spending time with someone who doesn't expect you to be anything. A tree, a breeze, the stars, or maybe just yourself, with a little kindness and no expectations. And if you ever forget how, just remember May's words. You're never truly alone when you've made peace with who you are. Thanks for sitting with me today. I'm Sam. And I may be alone right now, but I've never felt more surrounded.